I put this quote from Mickey Spillane in for us to see how a professional writer who was very, very successful. He sold 225 million copies of his books. That was Mickey Spillane. And he says, I have no fans. You know what I got? Customers. So it's one of the things that you want to keep in mind, that your reader is your customer. And one of the most important aspects of your communication with your reader is the main idea, because that tells the reader what to do and how it's to be done. Let's review for a moment how this has progressed. We started our search for a main idea by identifying the action that the reader is to take when he or she finishes reading. Then we moved to the reader and worked on the reader and tried to understand what the reader looks for and what the reader's needs and concerns are, and how the reader likes to get information. Now we're moving to the actual object that gets created, the memo, the letter, and this now must have a main idea. It's very hard for people to decode a piece of writing if we don't know what the central theme is, or the central point, or the central objective. So this is why we see the feed-forward issue worked on here. When we started our journey to identify the main idea, we had to put certain items together. We needed to know the reader, and we needed to know what we wanted from the reader. Now here we can create the main idea. The main idea is a sentence that combines the action that we want the reader to take with the reader's needs and concerns. In other words, we're hooking the two together. The next slide explains this clearly. On this slide, what is my main idea? You see the yellow across the top, which is the action plus the reader equals the main idea. So this is the way we want to formulate the issue. You know what you want from your reader, the action, and you know what your reader's primary need and concern is, and you put the two together to get your main idea. So let's decide on an action. In this case, we're going to buy a new system. And then we're going to talk about 3 different readers and see how the main idea changes because of that. So the first reader are the board of trustees of a company, and they are concerned with the welfare of the company. So we create the main idea by taking the action, purchasing this equipment, which is buy a new system. Purchasing this equipment provides for the long-term survivability of the company. The reader's needs and concern is the long-term survivability of the company. So I'm hooking those two notions together, the action to buy the equipment with the concerns of the reader. Next, we have a customer who is competitive and market-oriented. He also wants to buy a new system. So we connect the new system, getting a new computer, will give you 3 strategic advantages. The strategic advantages is because the customer is competitive and market-oriented. So he would want something that gives him strategic advantages. So again, we link the action, buying a new system, with the customer. Finally, we have a colleague who values efficiency and is collegial, and so efficiency is her issue. So she comes out with a main idea that says we should get a new computer to make our work easier. Now, the overall observation of all 3 customers is that to get a main idea, we combine the action we want from the reader with the reader's primary need and concern. Put the main idea in a simple declarative sentence. That way you are very clear about it, and the reader will be very clear about it. And I'm using the same sentences we just saw in the previous example here. Purchasing this equipment for the long-term survivability of the company. Getting a new computer will give you 3 strategic advantages, and we should get a new computer to make our work easier. Simple, clear, and to the point. In general, locate the main idea at the beginning, restate it at the end, and in longer documents, reiterate it throughout. In reports, put the main idea in the title if possible. In emails, put the main idea in the subject line, as well as at the end of the email. State the main idea directly, unless there might be status differences that require indirectness. For example, teacher might say, the child will do better in a different environment, rather than saying, get your brat out of here. Or when we talk to the president, we might say, I believe we should take immediate action. And when we talk to the Queen, might I recommend Your Highness? So we are indirect. So sometimes we need to be indirect. And in most organizations, there are what are called sacred cows. In other words, topics that are best left alone. But if you need to deal with that topic, be careful and deal with it indirectly. State your main idea concretely and specifically if you want results. For example, my favorite phrase is, "At your convenience, please call me." Well, I'm a very busy guy, so I don't think I'll be convenient until perhaps I'm dead. So keep that in mind. Also, don't hedge around and speak around, but get to the point. I'm of the opinion that perhaps we should update our product line. No, be definite. Computers should be added to our product line. I would like to call your attention to the fact that you have failed to submit the required information. I remind you to give your name, address, phone, and social security number. The regulations of our dress codes are strict. Everyone must wear a school blazer or face expulsion. So get specific. This also goes back to a concept, empty words, that we'll cover, either have covered or will cover in the future.